Right now, that little glass rectangle in your hand isn't sensing your touch. It can't feel pressure. It can't feel warmth. What it's actually doing is detecting the tiny amount of electricity leaking out of your body. Every single time you tap your screen, your finger steals a microscopic amount of charge from the phone. And the phone is running thousands of calculations per second just to figure out which part of you is doing the stealing.
You are not a user. You are a circuit. And your phone has been measuring your body this whole time.
So here's what I'm going to show you in the next 10 minutes. You're going to find out why your gloves don't work in winter, but a sausage does. I'm not joking. There are entire countries where people unlock their phones with snack sausages. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why that works. You'll find out why your phone goes completely insane the second a few raindrops hit the screen, throwing taps you never made. You'll find out why a dead body, a literal corpse, can't unlock a phone with its fingerprint or its touch, and what that reveals about what alive means to a machine. And right at the end, I'll show you the disturbing experiment where researchers made a phone tap itself from underneath a table, with no one touching it at all. The technology behind all of this is called projected capacitive touch, and the wild part? It wasn't invented by Apple. It was invented in 1965 by an engineer named E.A. Johnson, working for the British Royal Radar Establishment, decades before anyone had a phone to put it in. It sat almost unused for 40 years. Then one company dusted it off, and it changed the world. Let me show you how it actually works. Have you ever handed your modern phone to someone older and watched them stab it like they're trying to hurt it? There's a reason for that instinct, and it's because for years, screens worked in a completely different way. Think back to an old Nintendo DS, a supermarket checkout pad, a 2005 GPS unit. They all came with a little plastic stylus, and you had to physically press to make them work. You could use a pen, a fingernail, a stick, anything. That's because those were resistive screens. Picture two flexible layers, coated on the inside, held a hair's breadth apart. When you press down, the two layers physically touch and complete a circuit at that exact spot. The screen finds the pressure point. That's why those screens worked with anything, but felt mushy, never did smooth scrolling, and could only register one touch at a time. You weren't communicating with it, you were squishing it. Modern phones threw that entire idea in the trash. Your phone screen is rigid glass. It doesn't move. It can't be pressed. So how does it know you're there? To answer that, we have to talk about the strangest fact in this whole video. Your body is leaking electricity right now, and your phone can taste it. Why does the screen work with your bare finger, but completely ignore your fingernail, your knuckle when it's dry, or a plastic pen? Here's the secret. You are mostly salt water. Your body is roughly 60% water, packed with electrolytes, sodium, potassium, which makes you a surprisingly good electrical conductor. You can hold and move electrical charge. Now, underneath your phone's glass is a layer holding a small, steady electric field. Think of it like an invisible, calm pond of charge sitting on the surface of the screen. When your conductive finger comes close, it acts like a tiny drain. It pulls a sliver of that charge away from the screen and into your body. The pond gets disturbed right at the point you touched. The screen doesn't feel a press. It feels a drop in charge at one specific location. That's the touch. And this is the answer to the glove mystery. Wool, leather, cotton, they're insulators. They block the charge from flowing into your body. The screen's little pond stays perfectly still. So as far as the phone is concerned, nothing happened. So how do people in freezing countries fix this? In South Korea, when winters got brutal, people discovered that a certain brand of snack sausage is mostly salt and water, meaning it's conductive, just like a finger. They literally unlocked their phones with sausages. Sales reportedly spiked. That is the entire science of touchscreens in one ridiculous, beautiful hack. But knowing your finger drains charge from somewhere isn't enough. The phone needs to know exactly where, down to the pixel. So how does a sheet of glass turn one tiny disturbance into precise coordinates? That's where it gets genuinely clever. How do you find one exact point on a screen with no moving parts and no buttons? You build a grid, like the game Battleship. Layered into your screen, completely invisible, is a microscopic grid of transparent wires. They're made of a strange material called indium tin oxide, special because it conducts electricity but is see-through, so it doesn't block the display. One set of these wires runs in rows, another set runs in columns. At every single point where a row crosses a column, there's a tiny stored charge, a crossing point. Your screen has millions of these intersections. When your finger pulls charge away, it doesn't just affect one wire. It affects the row and the column that cross under your fingertip. The phone scans every row and every column dozens of times a second, notices charge dropped on row 12 and column 30, and instantly calculates the touch is at the intersection. That's where you are. And because it's tracking rows and columns independently, it can track multiple fingers at once. Row 12, column 30, and row 40, column 8. That's the magic behind pinch to zoom. Two separate charge drains, two separate coordinates, tracked simultaneously. Resistive screens could never do that. But raw grid data is messy. Your palm brushes the edge, your face hits it on a call. So there's one more component, a tiny brain whose entire job is to ignore most of what it sees. If your screen detects every charge change, why doesn't it go haywire when your palm touches the edge, or when your cheek presses it mid-call? Because between the glass and the rest of the phone sits a dedicated chip called the touch controller. It's a little specialist processor doing nothing but reading that grid and asking, is this a real touch or noise? It knows a fingertip makes a small, round, specific signal. A palm makes a big, sprawling, blurry one. Your cheek makes a huge one. So it runs palm rejection. It sees the giant smudge of your face during a call and consciously decides, ignore. That's literally why your screen goes black against your ear and doesn't dial random numbers with your jaw. So the next time your phone responds the instant you touch it, understand what just happened in that fraction of a second. Your body drained charge. A grid of millions of invisible intersections detected the drop. A controller chip filtered out the noise, confirmed it was a real fingertip, calculated the exact coordinate, and sent it to the screen. Your body drained charge. A grid of millions of invisible intersections detected the drop. A controller chip filtered out the noise, confirmed it was a real fingertip, calculated the exact coordinate, and sent it to the screen. Which sounds perfect, unbreakable even, except that exact same system has a terrifying weakness. Because if a phone is just listening for changes in an electric field, what happens when someone else learns how to change that field? Here's the unsettling part nobody tells you. Your touchscreen doesn't actually know the difference between your finger and any other source of electrical interference. It's not detecting a human, it's detecting a change in the electric field. And that's a door you can pick. In 2022, a team of security researchers published an attack they called GhostTouch. They placed equipment underneath a table, hidden, out of sight, and used precisely tuned electromagnetic signals to reach up through the table and into a phone sitting on top of it. No one touched the phone, and it started tapping itself. They could make it answer phantom calls, trigger fake swipes, in the right conditions, accept a malicious Bluetooth connection, all on a screen that was just lying there, untouched, while its owner walked away thinking it was safe. That's the price of the magic. The very thing that makes your screen feel like it reads your mind, that it responds to invisible electrical fields instead of physical pressure, is the same thing that means a strong enough field from the wrong source can impersonate your finger. And it's the same reason water wrecks your screen. Water is conductive too, so when rain hits the glass, every droplet becomes a fake fingertip, draining charge, lighting up the grid, and your phone starts firing off taps you never made. To your phone, a raindrop and a fingertip are speaking the exact same language. It was never detecting you. It was only ever detecting electricity that happens to look like you. So if you remember one thing from this entire video, make it this. You don't touch your phone. You complete it. Every tap is your body, and that glass briefly becoming one electrical system. You, the conductor, the screen, the sensor. Charge flowing between you, exactly like a key turning in a lock. Try this tonight. Touch your screen with the very tip of your finger, then with a dry knuckle. Watch how one works perfectly and the other barely registers. That's not the screen being picky. That's you watching conductivity happen in real time, in your own hand. You'll never tap a phone the same way again. Now, you just learned that your phone identifies you by the electricity in your body. But that raises a much bigger question, doesn't it? If your screen only sees you as a vague electrical smudge, then how does that same phone look at your face in total darkness and recognize you out of 8 billion people with enough confidence to hand over your entire digital life? The answer involves your phone firing 30,000 invisible dots at your face every time you glance at it. And it's even stranger than what you just saw. I broke down exactly how that works right here.